All right, Virgo, it looks like for some of you, you may be reflecting on the way that you have been involved with a person in particular in your life, and you may need to say goodbye or at least stop enabling them in some way. So from the Halloween Oracle, the lamp, remembrance. And then from Hidden Realms, the High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, and Consideration. And this did show up as a challenge for you. But a part of this that I read really hit home for me when I think about Virgo and Virgo going out of their way to help other people that may not appreciate them. Now, when you're looking at the lamp, this one is talking about remembering those who have passed and celebrating their life. But this is doing so even if you did not have an easy relationship with those people or if you didn't like them. But it's saying that sometimes we learn more from our nemesis than we do our friends, so that the darkness can illuminate our strengths and our true values so that we can live them more clearly and fully. Now, the High Lady as a challenge for you. The High Lady of Love and Compassion. Here is where I was like, yeah, that's Virgo. It says, is it possible that your good intentions are about helping too much, enabling another person to remain the same and preventing his or her growth? Sometimes it's better to let others hit bottom with their own suffering rather than trying to make it easier for them. Sometimes you need to be cruel to be kind. You know, so look at this and think with the lamp. All right, Virgo. Here is your overall for the week. The Hangman. I think that you're doing this to yourself. If you're looking at a situation and going, why the hell isn't anything moving forward? It may be because, you know, you're purposely putting yourself in this state of limbo because you're trying to see the situation differently. I mean, you know, again, right, like needing to see things from a different perspective, gaining some enlightenment, putting your ego aside. But, you know, what I get from this more so than anything is that there's no reason for a situation to be held up. You know, I don't like when people are holding up the show. I don't think that you're stalling. But I do think that you're doing this to yourself and you don't really need to do this. Now, in the past, the Three of Pentacles. So, you know, like I always say, when that shows up, I could point to a work situation. But, you know, the other thing with the Three of Pentacles, this is you trying to work things out, you know, trying to work with another person or a group of people here. You know, you may be at kind of like a standstill, so to speak, here when it comes to being recognized for your skills and your talents when it comes to work. You know, there may not be a whole lot of like movement forward as far as like moving further along in your job or the work that you do. But, you know, this to me sticks out when we're needing to work on something with someone or trying to figure out how to make a situation work. Oh boy. In the present, the Eight of Cups, you know, maybe it's time to move on. Right? Especially if you feel like nothing is really happening here. You know, you can make the choice here to move on or continue to feed to something that is not going to bring you fulfillment with the Eight of Cups. Right? You know, and for some of you, you've been waiting around, you know, doing everything that you can to make a situation work. But, you know, in the present moment, it looks like you're getting pushed to the point where maybe you do need to consider moving on. Oh boy. Future conditions, the Two of Cups. I can feel the struggle with this. If we're talking about a relationship here with the Two of Cups being in future conditions, I mean, this is you waiting for the other person to see things differently. I do think that some of you in the present moment are going back to this feeling of, I need to stop doing this. You know, I need to stop, you know, constantly thinking that this can work out or that I need to do something differently to make this work out, you know. But the other thing, though, too, with the Hangman is things may be at a standstill, but is the other person seeing a different perspective if we're talking about a relationship? And that could be any relationship, you know, but we're talking about in future conditions needing to see eye to eye. In the present moment, that's not happening if you're considering moving on. The sun, the sun, the sun, your best path to follow the sun. You know, and this is definitely about enlightenment here with the Hangman being there. You know, needing to see things for what they really are. seeing the truth of a situation. But then, I also feel like this is about your sense of self, and I say that a lot when I see this as advice, because when I look at the sun, I think of sense of self, your ego, your direction, right? If you're constantly setting your ego aside to try to make something work with somebody and it's just not happening, then maybe you need to start looking at what is going to bring you, that new energy, that new vitality, right? But like, you're okay. Like, I feel like you're okay. I mean, even if you do decide to continue to do this, you're fine. But, you don't want to feel like you don't know who you are in this situation. Because I kind of get that with the Hangman and the Sun being there. And your environment, the Knight of Cups. And that may be why. And, it's always difficult when we're constantly like trying to make a situation work with somebody in a relationship. When there's this constant, come here, go away type feeling. With the Knight of Cups being in the environment connected to the Eight of Cups, I think that you're used to this. You're used to this person coming in, but then not really following through. I love the Knight of Cups. I do. I love all the Knights, but they're, the extreme version of the pages. There's not a whole lot of wisdom or experience there, and they're just kind of like junkies in their own respective fields. And here you're talking about, emotions. But for you, it's like, I've seen this one too many times. I'm still waiting around for you to kind of like see my side of it. But I'm really considering not going through this again, But yet you still are, though, because we're looking at the Three of Pentacles coming down on this, and you not really doing anything, not really making any choices, not really acting on anything, with the Hangman being the overall. Wow, Virgo. Oh, boy. Your hopes and your fears, death. And when I see this here, especially when the Eight of Cups is showing up, for me, immediately it suggests that for you, you're looking at it like, if I do walk away, what does that mean? Well, with death showing up, that means that you can't turn back. Now, this is definitely some things needing to come to an end, and they need to change, right? Death and transformation. It is about endings and new beginnings here, but it's like aspects of a situation that need to, be done with. It's done and over with. You have no choice but to go through a change. But fearing death, with the Eight of Cups being there, is definitely about, it being over with for good this time, But you and the other person are still in it. Their actions are a little bit different here with the Knight of Cups. And it's not that they're in and out like the Knight of Wands here. It's their emotions are constantly fluctuating, because otherwise you wouldn't be looking at this going, I can't, like, I don't know that I can do this. But yet here in future conditions, right? And with the Hangman, hanging in there, waiting for the different perspective to be seen, whether that's, by you or the other person here. But still wanting to have this connection, still wanting to be very much with this person. But it definitely, man, with death, some things need to change. This kind of, back and forth can't continue. But you're going to have to do something for you, though, that's going to make the situation change in a way where you feel okay with either walking away or continuing the connection. And then the outcome, the King of Wands, why does that not surprise me? The King of Wands. And I do think that this is the person that you're dealing with. I do think that there's still very much a connection with this person. There is a strong attraction, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of follow through with them because of the Knight of Cups and looking at the Eight of Cups. Constantly, trying to work things out, make things work in this situation, make things work in this relationship. But where you're at right now, based on the way that they're acting, you may be looking at this going, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can continue to do this because it's not giving you what you want. And then the Six of Pentacles. All right. I love your card too, by the way, in this deck. I love the Hermit. I am the Hermit. Damn it. the Hermit. If you're talking about needing to look at, if we're going to work on things again, this is you going back and looking at everything that you've already been through in regards to, this person, this relationship, this situation, and like kind of like taking a distance here, needing to do the deeper soul searching, right? Oh my goodness. But there is still very much, a connection, a passion there, a want to be connected. But how do you begin to move forward if they're not seeing things from a different perspective, or if you're putting yourself in this like limbo state and kind of like losing your sense of self and direction, but that could be because of the King of Wands, right? Having that connection, having that attraction. The problem is there's not a whole lot of follow through. The Queen of Swords, I think that you're trying. Like, I think that right now there's a part of you that kind of wants to like shut this out. Like, I'm not playing games with you anymore. Don't play with me. I always say that the Knight of Cups should not be going to the Queen of Swords unless he's looking for a severe ass kicking. Don't play with my emotions anymore. Don't put me through this because I will walk away. But you don't really, though. I think that you've done a lot of reflecting on this. But there's got to be something about this that's making you feel like it's worth working on again. But they can't do this, well, I feel like this day, and then I feel like this another day, and do this like bipolar, kind of emotional back and forth with you. Now, with the Six of Pentacles, this is, I need to see something. I need to see something here. Now, I don't necessarily feel like we're talking about somebody who's like wanting a handout from you. I mean, for some of you, that could be the case here. And again, right, like feeling like you're responsible for them and enabling them. But, I think that you're still very much giving to the situation. What I question is what you're actually getting out of it, because I don't know that there's a whole lot of equal give and take. But this is nothing's changing with this, that I will say. With the Hangman, nothing's really happening. Nothing's really changing. Things are just, what you expect them to be involving this person. But, if you're wanting things to change, especially with death being there, and wanting to have this sense of rebirth when it comes to this, you're going to have to follow through, though, on your own actions here. If they continue to play these games with you, and maybe walk away. But I still see you very much wanting to have this connection with this person. And like I said, with the King of Wands coming out, like, I get it. I understand that, It's not somebody that is, that easy to walk away from. The Ace of Swords, this is about trust. Truth and trust, and needing to have that trust here, and needing to just kind of let go and trust, the person that you're with. Trust them that, they're doing the right thing here, and just let go, right? Don't try to control anything that's going on within the relationship right now, and I'm not saying that you need to have blind faith here, but there does need to be some kind of level of trust, communication, truth, right? I mean, beyond doing the kinky sex thing. Now, for those of you who are single, if you're looking at getting back together with somebody or trying to work a relationship out, then definitely you two need to spend some time alone, right? And I look back at the Hermit and think, maybe at one point things worked when, it was just you and this person, and you weren't so involved in everything else that was going on around you, right? Needing to disconnect from the world. But when you do that, right, with the Star, healing of a relationship, and having hope restored. I like it. For those of you who are looking at, trying to work on a relationship here, like I've always said, when it comes to the Eight of Cups, I'm not going to tell you need to move on. For some of you, you may need to follow through on the threat. But, it's not that easy. It's not that easy to move away from things that we've invested so much into, especially emotionally. But you need to do what you feel like is right for you. My problem is if you're considering walking away, it may be because you're tired, though, and wore out here because of this person's constant, I love you, I don't. I love you, I don't. Like this bipolar kind of like relationship that's going on. And yeah, you do need to stop enabling that, but you know, it doesn't mean that you need to end the relationship. But what you're doing now isn't working. And that's the thing, right? And with death being there, there's definitely some things that have to change, especially in terms of behavior, you know, but that goes both ways, right? You know, but I look at this and I'm hopeful, but then at the same time, I don't think that things are really changing in terms of this. But I do think that, you know, with the sun shining on you and on the situation, there may be, you know, some kind of breakthrough on how to, you know, get a better connection here, to start seeing eye to eye. You know, maybe you need to put yourself in their perspective for a minute and that may help. But maybe it's them that needs to do this. You know, but I don't blame you coming out on this. Like, don't play games with me here. I'm willing to give my part. You have to give me something in return.